Sarah DiGenova.
And I'm Pam Maffa.
And we're the co-presidents of the Windsor Junior Women's Club. This is the 47th year for the Shad Derby Coronation Ball here at the Sheraton in Windsor Locks. This is our 47th year at the Shad Derby Coronation Ball, and this year we're here at the Sheraton in Windsor Locks.
The Junior Women's Club, who hosts this ball every year, so it's our 47th year, as Sarah said. We're back here at the Sheraton, and we're looking forward to a lovely evening.
And since the Windsor Junior Women's Club has hosted this Coronation Ball,
it means that we share the responsibility of welcoming you to the 2012 Shad Derby Coronation Ball. But before we go any further, we'd like to introduce our Shad Derby Ball co-chairs, Denise Ricotta and Kristen Hoffman.
Thank you, Sarah. When we call your name, if you please remain standing, and please hold applause until the end.
Allison Tasillo, 1981 Miss Windsor Women's JCs. Allison, please stay standing. Allison, stand up. Genevieve Brzezowski Latimer, 1989. Jillian Grimacombe, 1994 Miss Printing Express. Amanda Whalen, 2009 Miss Cicero's Convenience Store. Shelby Ekman, 2010 Miss Union Street Tavern. Katie Corey, 2010 Century 21 William Smith Realty. Kelly Flynn, 2009 Shad Derby Queen. Pam Micah, 2003 Miss Hair Salon. I'm sorry, I skipped one. And Kaylin Moore, 2011 Shad Derby Queen, Miss Windsor Queen. Involved in the Windsor community, and we thank you for your continued service and dedication to the tradition of Shad. Thank you.
Sarah is now going to tell you a bit about the history of the Shad Derby.
This entire month's worth of events that we now call the Shad Derby had very humble beginnings. The very first Shad made up of 9 different civic groups, each run a community development project benefiting many different people and organizations in town. The Bureau members include the Windsor Junior Women's Club, the Windsor JCs, the Kiwanis, the Windsor Rod and Gun Club,
The Civitan Club, Washington Lodge of Freemasons, the Lions Club, the Exchange Club of Windsor,
the Windsor Chamber of Commerce, and our newest member, the Windsor Historical Society. It's quite a list.
It sure is. Together we have truly done more this year.
But tonight we're at the Coronation Ball, where tradition begins again.
This is the big night for our Queen's candidates.
Because,
Well, each candidate is sponsored by a Windsor organization or business. The judging criteria consists of Here's the plan for the evening. First, we're going to have dinner.
then we'll introduce our Master of Ceremonies and our judges.
The Queen's candidates will be formally introduced.
Then we'll hear each of their speeches.
I'm really looking forward to hearing the speeches. Every year I'm always so impressed by these young ladies.
And then we'll all dance while the judges make their decision.
And then everything culminates with the announcement of the 2012 Shad Queen and her court.
Finally, this is the Coronation Ball.
So everyone, please enjoy the evening and have a ball tonight.
Both started their Shad careers as presidents of the Windsor Junior Women's Club, who coordinated the Coronation Ball and went on to work on the Queen's Committee, which they co-chaired together for several years.
This is their second year as co-chairs of the Shad Derby Festival Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathy and Dina.
Good evening, and thank you, Pam and Sarah. I'm Dina, and this is Kathy. Shad Derby would not be possible without their generous donations of all our sponsors, especially our platinum and gold level sponsors. We're going to thank them now. First, we want to thank Windsor Federal Savings for sponsoring our Shad Derby pens this year, and also for all the hors d'oeuvres and appetizers that we had in the cocktail hour tonight. We have tonight the posters, gala invitations, ball banners, and Buy Shad, which you'll be hearing about in a few minutes. Ashley's distinctive jewelry and gifts. Their donations included all the judges' pins and the pewter bowls that the winners will receive tonight. Price Chopper donated flowers for all of our candidates tonight. And also, thanks to all of our local businesses and civic groups who have generously sponsored Queen candidates and purchased ads in our fall book. We appreciate their commitment to the Shad Derby, and please be sure to patronize these businesses.
This year, we kicked off the Shad Derby events early in February with the Hooker Brewery fundraiser sponsored by the Exchange Club. We added the Windsor Historical Society, as you heard, to the Shad Fest this weekend, so tomorrow is the last day of that. And obviously, you know about the Coronation Ball. That's the reason we're here. And that is sponsored by the Windsor Junior Women's Club. We want to recognize Pam Maffa, Sarah DiGenova, Chrissy Hoffman, and Denise Ricotta for coordinating tonight's event. We also want to thank Mariah Lombardi and Lori Budrick, the Queen's Committee co-chairs, for their work in preparing the Queen candidates for all their events, especially the Coronation Ball. But there's still more. On Friday, there are a number of events. The Sheila Schmidt Family Fishing Derby was sponsored by the Windsor JCs, and that will be held on Friday at Washington Park. That is a great family event. $25, you get lobster and corn and potatoes, clam chowder. It was a fantastic event last year, And actually this evening, Carissa Fusco at table 5, where is table 5? Carissa's waving over there if you would like to buy tickets. Please see Carissa at table 5, and she's accepting checks and cash. And if you don't have that on you this evening, she can arrange that later on. So it was wonderful last year. On Saturday, there is no excuse to stay inside. Lions Arts and Crafts Festival will be held on the green. And the Kiwanis Club will have a Shad Derby golf tournament. The Chamber of Commerce will be sponsoring the blood drive at Town Hall on Friday. The Chamber also coordinates, and Bart's Beanery, Geisler's, Union Street Tavern, and Windsor Federal Savings are sponsoring these this year, or holding them, and half the proceeds go to Shad Derby. And of course, we can't forget the big day, known as Shad Derby Day. That will be held on Saturday, May 19th. You can start off with a 5K road race sponsored by the Windsor Kiwanis, which starts at 10 if you are so inclined. And then, of course, we have the Shad Derby Parade and the Greens activities, which are sponsored by the Windsor JCs. And if you're looking for details for all these events, you can find them in your law book that everybody got this evening. So make sure you keep this.
As you can see, a lot of work goes into making these events very successful. Dozens of volunteers work hard every year, giving their time and energy. Thank you very much to all of our volunteers. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to see what's going on with the Shad Derby and to view pictures, please be sure to visit our website at windsorshaddderby.org. Now, it is our pleasure to introduce Frank Carmen. Thank you, Frank, for giving this evening's invocation. Frank grew up in Windsor. He is a third-generation owner of Carmen Community Funeral Homes. He is past board member of the Chamber of Commerce and the Windsor Historical Society, and he is currently the president of the Exchange Club of Windsor. He now lives in Windsor with his wife, Taryn.
Since no one started eating yet, we'll have everyone bow for a word of grace. I'd like to first thank the Windsor. So if everyone would bow their heads. At this time, on this great occasion, let us give thanks, pause to reflect, still our minds, and open our hearts. Dear God, our Creator and Sustainer, we give you thanks for the opportunity to come together as a town and as a community this evening. Please bless all those here that they may return safely to their homes this evening with a renewed sense of dedication and hope for all that the future holds. I ask on behalf of those gathered here that you would indeed bless each of these young women. Give them the grace to make a difference for the good wherever they may find themselves in the years ahead. And may it foster better relations among all the organizations represented here this evening. May this event serve as a catalyst to move us forward and cause us to advance and see growth in all areas of our lives. We also pray, Lord, that you would bless all the young people here tonight. Their talents, passion, and determination give us all hope for a bright future for the town of Windsor, our families, and ourselves. We ask that everyone here tonight will draw strength and encouragement from these young adults, and that their examples will help us to work together on behalf of all the residents of this town. We pray that as they enter college and the workforce, that you will protect them and guide them in all that they do, and that this evening will be recalled fondly as they reflect on their journey through life. We ask that you bless this food, pray that it will nourish, and for the country in which we live, may we continue to uphold the ideals set forth by our predecessors. We ask that your care be provided to those in need, both at home and abroad, and for further peace throughout the world. Amen.
Amen. And now it's our pleasure to introduce the Master of Ceremonies for this evening, Mr. Jerry Wisher.
Jerry Wisher has a professional career spanning the past 32 years. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance from the University of Connecticut.
Jerry is a professional certified coach who specializes in business and executive coaching. His clients are business owners and professionals around the world.
Jerry is extremely active professionally as the 2012 President of the Board of Trustees for the Unity of Greater Hartford,
Here in Windsor, Jerry is well known as the host of the annual Windsor Feud televised fundraising event for the Windsor Chamber of Commerce. He has also been the past president / for the Windsor Chamber of Commerce and serves as celebrity auctioneer for a number of community fundraisers.
In his personal life, Jerry has acted 10 years in community theater, taught tennis, studied martial arts, and is a prize-winning baker. He's married to his college sweetheart and has 2 wonderful daughters.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Windsor's own Jerry Wistrom.
Thank you so much. Okay, so it's a little bit tough to be the master of ceremonies here. Everyone wants me to do something exactly for them. Chrissy Hoffman wants to make sure that everyone here has a good time tonight. John Jerry wants me to be funny but not be too racy. So, first, let's start off introducing our judges chair, our judges. I want to take this opportunity to thank Genevieve Latimer, our judges chair, and the judges, Hetty Ayers, Valerie Payne-Massey, Nancy Tandon, and Susan Weston for their time and dedication this year. Our auditor is Timothy Carmen. Timothy was born and raised in Windsor, Connecticut. He attended Loomis Chaffee in Windsor, graduating in the class of 1999. Tim went on to the University of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting and a Bachelor of Arts in Religion. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our 2012 Shad Derby Queen candidates. First up, Alyssa Hobson, Miss Century 21 with Realty, escorted by Darius Moore. Mae Sheelan, Miss Tunx's Grill, escorted by AJ Massaro. Miss Noon's Quality Plumbing and Heating, escorted by Joey Phelps. Rebecca Pori, Miss Connecticut Bank and Trust, escorted by Sam Suttergren. Christiana Gilbert, Miss PC Development Group, escorted by Dan Hammersmith. Chandler Jackson, Miss All-Stars Gymnastics, escorted by Race Bianchi. Sarah Lynn Brown, Miss Nat Hayton's Real Pit Barbecue, escorted by Adrian Hatch. Rebecca Charette Lazarus, Miss Hairdresser on Fire, escorted by Brian Casasnovas. Haley Malloy, Miss Jordan and Young Dental, escorted by Brian Ekman. Bowie Wong, Miss Windsor Kiwanis, escorted by Tommy Wynn. Megan Connolly, Miss Windsor JCs, escorted by Jeremy Fredette. Camille Caliendo, Miss Windsor Exchange Club, escorting on 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present to you the 2012 Shad Derby Queen candidates. So this is an important night for all these young ladies, and I'm just so happy for you. I know that your parents and your families have gone through a lot to make sure that you're here tonight and that everything is right. So let's take just a moment. Could we have a round of applause for the parents and families of these young ladies? And one more round of applause, if you please, for the sponsors, the small businesses that supported these young ladies through the process. Couldn't do it without them. Short enough for you, Billy? Okay. A little long. Each candidate has prepared an essay in response to the following statements. If you were to describe yourself by a quotation, what would that quote be? And so, I'm going to introduce each one of the contestants. They will come and give you their response to that question. First, Wafa Simpur, Miss Windsor Lions Club.
Good evening. Having a unique and fun personality, it was difficult finding a quote to describe myself. But I found that Albert Pine said it best. What we do for ourselves dies with us. What we do for others and the world remains and is immortal. This quote describes me very well because I'm a people person. Being around my friends and family gives me joy, and it was when it's at my happiest. This is also the reason why I get involved in so many activities. Knowing that you can help someone is really the most valuable thing and someone can do. In Albert Pine's quote, he describes that we shouldn't be selfish and help others. Not because you want your legacy to live on, not out of selfishness or desire, because it's the right thing to do. His quote made me look outside the term to see what I can do to improve the world around me. Not having him around as much showed how much of an influence he was in my life. And seeing the doctors work hard to help him was the last little push I needed to know how I wanted to help others. Becoming a doctor is how I'll stay true to the words of Albert Pine. What we do for ourselves dies with us. What we do for the world and others remains and is immortal. I'm very proud to say that my life has almost come full circle. Soon I'll be starting college and continuing the circle and helping others along the way. I believe you only live once and should make every second count. I'd like to take this time to thank my sponsors, the Windsor Lions Club, my escort, and my family for being my rock during this whole process. Thank you.
Camille Caliendo, Miss Windsor Exchange Club.
After being diagnosed with breast cancer, Linda Ellaby wrote, "I've always felt that laughter in the face of reality is probably the finest sound there is, and will last until the day when the game is called on account of darkness. In this world, a good time to laugh is any time you can." Even in the hard times that we are forced to endure, laughter brings us spirit. And like Linda, I am thankful for laughter. At some point in each of our lives, we have faced challenges, but I have found that a laugh can change everything and restores relief into our souls. In my life, adversity came at a young age. In 5th grade, I suddenly seemed to have been uncontrollably spacing out in class and on the soccer field, unable to see and hear the world around me for several moments, and within months, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. In middle school, a teacher would call me in class, and I would suddenly disappear for 15 seconds. and as I came back, I blushed with embarrassment as kids around me chuckled. Their laughter was powerful, as if it was a force against me. I quickly found myself no longer raising my hand in class or putting myself in a stressful situation where an absence seizure could occur. But as quickly as my self-confidence began to fade, a greater strength began to grow within me. I realized that laughter did not have to weaken my confidence, but that I can use it as my own relief. In the times where I had to wait to find change within my health, I could find change in the direction of laughter in my presence, so that it would never defeat my spirit. Laughter was its own kind of medicine, and it has provided a hope that in life I can always feel comfort when a joke with a warm smile is by my side. So we can all learn to embrace the challenges in our life before it is too late, and our game is called On Account of Darkness. Thank you.
Megan Connolly, Miss Windsor JC.
Good evening. How many times have you thought to yourself, if only I was more like them, or if only I lived there and was richer, my life would be better? Let's be serious, we've all thought these types of things. It's human nature to wish our lives were better or different. Instead, I've chosen to live my life a different way. A great way to explain this is a quote by Kanye West. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. This is a great quote to live by because it shows how not being perfect has made me perfect in my own way. Growing up with my little brother TJ wasn't easy. He had his problems and I had mine. We fought like any other sibling would, but it was worse and a lot more frequent. He was always picked on by a lot of other kids. I was never one to stand up and fight for him. This hurt him and me both. It started to bother me more because I realized these kids who were picking on my little brother had no right to do so. They did not know him, and they did not know what he was going through. They did not know that all he wanted was to fit in. By standing up for him, I may have lost some so-called friends along the way, but I became a better big sister because of it. One thing me and TJ could usually do together without fighting was spend time at the pool. Throughout life, I've never been one of the kids who was just naturally talented for everything I did. But one thing I was good at was swimming. I wasn't the fastest, but my strokes were always clean and crisp, and my toes always pointed. To teach swimming lessons, you don't have to be the fastest, but you do have to be good at the strokes. Lucky for me, I have the right qualities for this job. Over the summer, I get to spend my 8 weeks dog paddling around the pool. So even though my 8 years of Windsor Water at swimming did not lead me to be a state champion, it did lead me to a fun summer job. Life isn't easy, but it's what you make of it that makes it worth living. I know I'm not perfect, no one is, but it's everything we're not that makes us everything we are. I'm not perfect, but I'm darn close to my sport, and most importantly, all the wonderful Shad Derby candidates. Thank you.
Bowie Wong, Miss Windsor Kiwanis.
Good evening, everyone. People always ask me if I have a middle name, and every time I say no, they never believe me. My parents just never thought about it. It ended up being my friends who gave me one, Bowie Wong, and it fits perfectly. Since the age of 7, I was already worrying about moving to America and learning English. Even now, I worry about keeping straight A's or losing class credit for too many sick days. I was actually just worrying about this speech when it suddenly hit me. I've been so obsessed about the can-nots and do-nots that I completely forgot about the what-ifs and could-bes. That's why Lewis Carroll's words stuck with me when the White Queen tells Alice, I try to believe in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. Instead of setting 10 alarms so that I'll be at school on time or having my mom pull up my gray hair, I should just keep faith in the impossibilities. Mr. Carroll's words encouraged me to take risks despite my fear of heights. They gave me the determination to enter the medical field and overcome my fear of blood, and they helped me find the confidence to enroll in UC San Diego. They made me realize that you don't always need wings to fly. That can be more than what others say. That not knowing shouldn't turn into not trying. I know it's past breakfast time, but I will continue to take the White Queen's advice. Tonight, I believe that I won't trip on my heels, that shooting stars really do make wishes come true, that my sister will always be 29, that I can participate in the Shad Derby without embarrassing myself, that no matter what I become when I grow up, I'll be one thing for certain, happy, and that at least one of you will wake up tomorrow morning and make your own list of possibilities. Thank you and good night.
Miss Allison Mendola, Miss Union Street Tavern.
Robin Allen once said, "Many of us are afraid to follow our passions, to pursue what we want most because it means taking risks and even facing. The greatest failure is to have never really tried." In my lifetime, I have taken many small risks which have led to great passions. In elementary school, I attended summer camp at Northwest Park to learn about different animals and habitats all around the world. Going to camp made me more conscious of the world around me and how I affect it. I had my dad change light bulbs so we would use less energy. I turned off electronics while I wasn't using them, and my family has made a huge effort to start recycling. I joined the Green Team, a club that works to inform the public about how what we do affects the planet. Our club has put recycling bins all around campus so that everything that can be recycled ends up in the dumpster. We also have awareness days to raise money for local environmental programs. Joining the Green Team led me to join another club, GAO, the Global Awareness Organization. This year I'm taking marine biology, where we're learning about where our food really comes from and how the way we dispose of our waste affects the ocean, the weather, and human beings. Last assembly, we showed a video of dolphins being captured, slaughtered, and killed in other countries illegally. Hopefully seeing this video will inspire others to take actions and make a change. These small steps have created passion in me to try and change the world for the better. I hope to join the Peace Corps when I graduate college to help people in other countries who are struggling to sustain a healthy and better life, so that one day they can inform themselves and follow their passions. Thank you.
Haley Malloy, Miss Jordan and Young Dental.
As long as I have a want, I have a reason for living. Satisfaction is death. Although the frankness of George Bernard Shaw's quote is startling, his words cannot be any truer. There is no room for growth or movement in satisfaction. Having a want, to me, is having a goal. Whether it's materialistic or intangible, they keep close tabs, know what college I'd attend before I knew myself, and continue to awe me with their talents. I will always have a want, I will always have a reason, but when the time comes when there's no more space to move and grow, I hope I'm blessed enough to feel satisfied. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Miss Hairdresser on Fire.
When I asked for a referral letter for college, one of my history teachers used the following quote to describe me. "But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant." That's a new definition of greatness. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. Dr. Martin Luther King, drum major instinct speech. My teacher went on to say that I embody this quote by the fact of me donating my life and service to my fellow people, by being an advocate through my time and community service for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT community, and also for my fellow people in general. Human rights has always been my passion, even from when I was at a young age. Being a child whose mom died at the age of 3, to being raised by 2 amazing gay dads, has prepared me for accepting and creating change in the world. Much of my social justice work is focused on those parts of society that get the least amount of equal rights. LGBT, women, bullying in the school system, etc. and I have used my voice, whether in classes, in front of the state legislature, or numerous times on NPR. My modern family moved to Windsor because we knew that we felt an acceptance and compassion from this town. With the population of this town, from families I meet daily to the high school administration and faculty, have always made my family feel welcome, and I would like to show others just how accepting the town of Windsor can be. You have given me the sense of what a truly diverse and inclusive town can do, who identifies LGBT, to help them have a better future in school life, like the one that I am so fortunate to have, or how to get through the tough times, the bullying, coming out to family who is accepting and affirming. I will never stop serving the people, for I feel it is my job as a citizen of this country and my duty as someone who has felt discrimination to make this world a better place for generations to come and for fight for those basic human rights. Thank you, and I'd like to thank my sponsor, Hairdresser on Fire, and my amazing family and friends here today.
Every day we make decisions that affect our future in different ways. Sometimes we look back upon previous decisions and wonder if maybe we should have possibly chosen the opposite path. Other times we reflect and rejoice because we know that even though it was difficult at the time, it was the right choice to make. And here we are now, faced with complicated decisions that determine which path we proceed onto. Up until now, my passion for music has influenced every aspect of my life, and I have never imagined pursuing anything else. However, through my high school experience in the classroom, I found a new love for biological sciences and a thriving thirst to help others. Now I find myself at the threshold of adulthood, faced with the defining choice of which career path to follow. We ourselves ultimately carve the path of our own lives based solely on our decisions, not our special talents. Although I have a talent and passion for music, I have chosen to pursue my newfound enthusiasm for medicine as a surgeon. Through Dumbledore's advice, I feel I have made the right decision for my future, allowing me to make an impact on the lives of many individuals as well as the greater community. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you tonight, a sculpture made by your hands. So much of what I know and learn is because of the wonderful people I have in my life. Colin Wilson once said, "The mind has exactly the same power as the hands, not merely to grasp the world, but to change it." Tonight, as I look into the audience, I see several faces of friends and family who have helped me learn how to make an impact. Each of these people has resonated with me because of their encouragement to get involved with our community. They have been by my side to positively challenge my thoughts and beliefs, and have pushed me to exceed beyond what I thought my limits were. However, the most beneficial asset about being part of the All-Stars family is that I can help others learn and watch them achieve their goals. In my church home, it's quite the opposite. My pastors and teachers are the ones who watch me grow. My church is a valuable place to explore my strengths and give back to our community in ways I couldn't anywhere else. There, I learned from people of every age, giving me a wide perspective of the world we live in. Sharing, accepting differences, giving to the less fortunate, and attending mission trips to forever change the lives of others has shown me how important paying it forward truly is. With the lessons and skills I have gained, I realize that I have an effect in this world. One small act of kindness towards someone can cause them to act generously in their own way. Although the first chapter of my life is coming to a close, I am filled with excitement and hope for what lies ahead. Thank you, all of you.
Next, Christiana Gilbert, Miss PC Development Group.
made it all the more real. Nothing can compare to the tears of joy of the Mexican family when they saw their home, the first home they'd ever had with a concrete foundation and a real roof. Working with Costa Rican children who live on the streets or in tin shacks and witnessing their progress and their own stories is one of the greatest experiences I will ever have, and one of the most difficult to describe. I will never forget a young boy thanking me for spending my money to fly down to see him and show him love. I have been so fortunate to be born with numerous gifts and blessings. Using my gifts to impact the lives of others has increased my joy and has made my life more worthwhile than I ever could have imagined. I would just like to express a big thank you to PC Development Group for allowing me this opportunity, and I wish everyone a great rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Rebecca Pori, Miss Connecticut Bank and Trust.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that all of you could make it here tonight. Picking just one quote to describe myself was much more of a challenge than I'd originally expected. It took a lot of self-reflection and asking myself, who am I? Nothing that I thought of seemed right. Finally, I came across this quote by George Bernard Shaw. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Now I realize why it was so hard to pick just one quote to sum up who I am. It's because I'm still a work in progress. I think the biggest part of who I am that I've created so far happened last year. For as long as I can remember, I've always been the shy and quiet girl. I would keep to myself and would only talk to other people if they started talking to me first. But before my junior year, I decided that I didn't like that part of my personality. So I tried being more outgoing by talking to people that I never thought that I would have. After a while, I realized that starting a conversation with someone wasn't hard at all, and that I could get to know so many amazing people if I just started approaching them more. Though I know that I'm still not as loud and outgoing as some people may be, I think anyone would agree that I've changed a lot, and I'm so happy because that would mean that I'm lost, and I don't think that I am. I'd rather take it step by step, deciding who I want to be and how I can get to be that person. Maybe I'll be a teacher, or maybe I'll be a zoologist, or maybe I'll just be a stay-at-home mom. I may not know who I want to be just yet, but instead of finding myself and having all the fun be over, I look forward to creating myself and being on a journey that lasts for my entire life. I want to thank my sponsor, Connecticut Bank and Trust, and my family for supporting me. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Christina Tasillo, Miss Rice Hardware.
For true success, ask yourself these 4 questions. Why? Why not? Why not me? Why not me now by James Allen. Success. One word. Something everyone wants and everyone strives to achieve. But where's that written manual taking us step by step through life teaching us how to get there? People want to be able to show off their overly expensive houses and cars. But I know how I define success. Success to me is not represented in how much I own, how often I pay for myself, or how many overly priced designer handbags and shoes I have. Success to me is being happy with my achievements and the paths I've taken to take myself there. Success requires hard work and perseverance, and trust me, during the past 4 years, I've worked extremely hard. Not everything I have encountered was easy though. To be honest, it was all difficult in different ways. It's the way I handled them which led me to succeed. I believe that everything happens for a reason. After all, I've had high hopes and dreams for myself starting since I was a little girl. So why wouldn't I want to follow my dreams? What's stopping me from living up to my full potential? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We've all had our parents tell us to be the best we can possibly be. Well, my parents certainly have. Not to stand in the way is my own self. I have the same opportunity to become a lawyer, a doctor, or a mad scientist just as much as you do sitting right in front of me. So why can't I have my own true success? If I want to become a nurse anesthetist, then I will be. If you want to become a veterinarian, then go for it. Who said you couldn't have your own true success? How do you define it? I'd like to thank my sponsor, Rice Hardware, for being like family to me throughout this whole experience. And I'd like to thank my whole entire family for always supporting me. Thank you.
Sonia Matias, Miss Noon's Quality Plumbing and Heating.
And welcome. I decided that this quote by José Sigmangu described me best. Dentro de nós há algo que não tem nome. Esse algo é o que somos. Which translated means, inside us there is something that has no name. That something is what we are. Inside me, there is only one thing. Growing up, the first language I learned was Portuguese. However, once I started preschool, the English language took over. But my parents pushed me to keep my first language, so I attended Portuguese school for 6 years. There, not only did I relearn the language, but I learned about the history, culture, and traditions of Portugal, which I grew to love and respect. This in turn helped me to grow a strong bond with my whole family. My family is a typical Portuguese family, extremely large and close-knit. Birthday parties, baby showers, and even hospital visits draw family members together. Usually, when a person is hospitalized, they may only expect a couple relatives to visit them. This is not so with my family. When I was hospitalized for Crohn's disease, my entire family came to my bedside. I remember there was a day when there were so many relatives in my room that I don't even think they realized I slipped out to run some tests. My very supportive family mean a great deal to me. I believe being Portuguese will benefit me in my future plans of becoming a nurse, where I will be able to converse with the English, Portuguese, and even Spanish-speaking patients. I also hope one day my own children learn Portuguese, which reminds me of the words of José Saramago. Dentro de nós há algo que não tem nome. Esse algo é o que somos. Thank you to my family and sponsor for supporting me through this memorable competition.
Maeve Sheelan, Miss Tungus Grill.
Tabua ana conche. It's a phrase in Irish that means, I've got the gift of the gab. You might think that all Irish women are genetically programmed with this gift, but I can assure you, Irish mothers do not greet their newborn daughters with, top of the morning to you, and hear them reply, and the rest of the day to you. The gab is learned like any great craft, through practice. The gift of the gab is not to be confused with gossiping, though I would be lying if I didn't say my Irish cousins and I always have a thing or two to say about the rest of the family when we get together. The gift of the gab is really much more about never being at a loss of words, and more importantly, putting people at ease. There's never an awkward silence in a conversation with someone like me. I found this skill infinitely useful, whether I'm playing a game with a shy little kid at the Catholic Worker House or helping a friend through a boy crisis. I hope, too, that'll help make me a better math teacher. It might not seem like an essential skill for someone who wants to deal with numbers all day, but there's no other discipline where kids need to be put more at ease than in mathematics. I know plenty of kids who don't like English, but I've never heard someone say they're frightened of direct objects. Math, on the other hand, seems to terrify many kids, and words. Even though the tale of me going to an outdoor festival in Ireland, where of course it rained straight for 4 days, has little to do with the Pythagorean theorem, if a little gab can help them learn, I'll know it was all worth it. Now that I've told you who I am, the gift of the gab doesn't seem too bad after all. I would just like to thank everyone for the continuous support, and especially my sponsor, Tungus Grill, and Slana Wala, which means safe home in Irish.
Sarah Whalen, Miss Ashley's distinctive jewelry and gifts.
Good evening. In the words of Dakota Finn, in a few short months, I will be ending my story at Windsor High School, but I will star in a new one as I enter college. I am determined to make Sarah Whalen, college years, an unforgettable tale where the protagonist continues to have countless adventures with great friends. One of the main characters in this story will be introduced this summer when I receive my roommate assignment from Norwich University. This encounter will set the tone for my upcoming 4-year journey. I can already picture the reaction on my roommate's face when I tell her that I am a licensed member of a motorcycle group and help teach a motorcycle safety course for my state. Who knows, maybe she will share in my enthusiasm for two-wheeled vehicles. With any luck, she will be a member of the rugby team so we can compare bruises after practice. These battle wounds will be our rugby family crest that I will be proud of knowing if there will be a twist in the plot that will take me on a new road. This, I believe, is the best part about reading a new book, because you don't know what will come of it or what new characters will be introduced. However, you cannot forget the past characters who have helped you to get to where you are today. Which is why I would like to thank my sponsor, Ashley's Distinctive Jewelry and Gifts, for giving me the opportunity to represent them in this year's Shad Derby. Although this story will seemingly come to an end when I graduate in May 2016, it will actually just be a cliffhanger that will lead to my next great adventure, because in life, endings are just beginnings. Thank you.
And finally, Alyssa Hobson, Miss Century 21, William Smith Realty.
Good evening, family, friends, and judges. I would like to take a moment to extend a very special thanks to my sponsors, Julie and Bill Smith of Century 21 Realty. Thank you so much. Keeping these words in mind has contributed to my success during my school career and continues to drive me today. When faced with a task, I have always felt that a positive attitude was necessary to obtain a favorable outcome. This premise has allowed me to take advantage of many opportunities and achieve success. Whether it's working with children at the daycare, leading and supporting my volleyball team for a successful season, or starting the Left to Tell Charitable Fund Club at my school. Without an optimistic attitude, I wouldn't have had so many rewarding experiences. Within my first days of working at the Discovery Daycare Center, it became clear that a positive approach and patience would be critical to forming a bond with the children. Volunteering has been so enjoyable and has helped me realize that I want to pursue a career where I would work with children. In the fall, I will attend the University of Connecticut to study psychology. I hope to become a child life specialist. Throughout my high school career, I've faced many challenges. Some situations were difficult, but I made a decision to remain upbeat. Whether it was a lower than anticipated score on a test, conquering a difficult orchestra piece, or losing a championship game, approaching the situation with a positive outlook always helped. After all, you can't change what has happened in the past, but you can change your attitude and hope for a positive outcome next time. In order to achieve success, academically and personally, one must approach every task or situation with a determined, hopeful, and positive attitude. Being a pessimist can stifle any potential for success. The optimistic attitude I maintain in class defines me. Change your attitude, and you can change your life, one step at a time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 candidates. All right, Tim, it's time to take your judges out of the room, do the best you can, pray for a quick and speedy and righteous ending for this. And Tonight's musical entertainment, by the way, is provided by Jim Aldridge of Romantic Entertainment LLC of Windsor. He's behind all these girls. Give him up. Big hand. There's Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2012 Shad Derby Queen candidate. Now we'll get everyone from the bar back in. They're like, oh my God, they're starting again. It's just so true. All right. Kaylin Moore currently studies at Chapman University in Orange, California. She plans on specializing in audio design next year. At school, Kaylin enjoys hosting a radio show, working on student productions, and making her own films. Please join me in welcoming Kaylin Moore, the 2011 Shad Derby Queen.
Wow. Hi, everyone. and flew 6 hours across the country, and tomorrow I will be doing the same thing, but I am so happy to be back for this. I can't believe it's already been a year since I was up here running for Shad Derby Queen. This past year has been incredible for me. I mean, I went to college, and it took me I hold it there. It really took me going across the country to experience something as crazy and eccentric as Los Angeles for me to realize how unique my own hometown was. I go to school with people from all over the world, from every socioeconomic class you can imagine, with every background, and none of them can even fathom what a Shad Derby is. The night that I moved into college, I was talking with my roommates, and one of them asks me, Kaylin, are you a beauty queen? So I said, no. Why would you do that? And she said that when she found out we were roommates, she added me as a friend on Facebook and was going through my pictures and saw all these photos of me with gorgeous girls in ball gowns and sashes. And I was with people that have no idea what it is, what it actually is. I sounded really weird. And not only that, but I was the queen of this celebration for a fish. But yet when I told people this, they thought it was the coolest and the craziest, like quirkiest thing they'd ever heard of, and they loved it. And I think because we come from Windsor and we don't really think about exactly what the Shad Derby is, we kind of take for granted how cool our town is. At least, I know I did. My senior year of high school, I have always loved, you're all feeling right now, I wanted to get out. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to prove to myself that there was something bigger than my hometown out there. So I went to California, and when I got there, I started to realize that I missed a lot of the random things about my town that I didn't think I would. Like the trails at Northwest Park, or Bart's Cheeseburgers, or riding through the center of town in my friends' cars. And I started to realize that there's a lot that Windsor, and life in general, has to offer that easily gets overlooked because we're anticipating the future. So my advice to you girls, not that you need it, but it would be to enjoy and absorb every single moment. Don't leave one single second unnoticed. Windsor and its people and its places made you who you are, and after hearing those speeches, it did remember what the stars look like from outside your house. Enjoy the way your car feels when you ride it, and appreciate the way you feel when you talk to the people you love, because in a few short months, everything familiar is going to change. And it's scary, and it's exciting, and it's a needed change, but it's easy to get caught up in the thrill of what's to come and overlook all the things you already have. When I was a freshman in high school, all I could think about was being a senior, and when I was a senior, all I could think about was being a freshman again, but in college, and now I'm in college thinking, where did all this time go? I'm only 19, I shouldn't be thinking that yet. Tonight's criteria is to pick a quote that describes your life, but I wanted to pick a quote that describes what I've learned this past year. And I study film at school, so I watched a lot of wonderful films this year, but one of my favorite lines is from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You could miss it. So everyone, look around, right now. Look at the people you're sitting with, and look at the table, and look at the walls and the chandeliers and just everything around you. Like, take this in. Like, girls, look at everything. Look at what these girls are wearing. This is a huge moment, and it only happens once. So take it in and enjoy every second of it. This is like a big deal. So girls, in 2 months, when you start the newest part of your life, I hope you can look back on the time you spent in Windsor and in high school with no regrets. And I hope that college is everything you wanted it to be. Last year in my speech, I said that I thought going to college in California was going to be something like pole vaulting with a shovel, in the sense that it was going to be tricky and uncomfortable, but not impossible to get used to. I can honestly look back and say that going to college is nothing, like a jetpack. In the sense that I look back and think, how did I even think I was getting off the ground before this? So I'm going to be honest right now. Knowing that I will no longer be the reigning Shad Derby Queen is a little bittersweet. I'm excited that I get to pass the crown down to another deserving girl who will carry on one of Windsor's greatest traditions. But this crown meant a lot to me. more than I could ever explain, and I still don't think I could put it into words. So, to the 2012 Shad Derby Queen contestants, I wish you the best of luck next year. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Each year, the Windsor Junior Women's Club honors a contestant candidate who best exemplifies an active, spirited individual with a great regard for and involvement in the Windsor community. The Casino Award receives a beautifully engraved pewter bowl and $600. We would like to thank Ashley's Distinctive Jewelry and Gifts for donating all of the pewter bowls given out this evening.
The winner of the Mary Ellen Messina Award is Rebecca Lynn Charette Lazarus.
I'll do that next time. Miss Congeniality is Camille Callion. Second princess is the envelope, please. Sonia Matias. Miss News Quality Plumbing and Heating. The 2012 Shad Derby first place of Grill Pit Barbecue. The 2012 Princess Royal is Christiana Gilbert, Miss BC Development Group. The Shad Derby Queen receives a $3,000 savings bond, a beautifully engraved pewter bowl, and a beautiful tiara, donated by Jewelers of America Incorporated, courtesy of Bill Seelig Jewelers. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2012 Shad Derby Queen is Bowie Wong.
I turn the music up, I got my records on, I shut the world